Okay, welcome back to another episode of We Build Australia's Nicest GQ Patrol. Now we're back in the shed. This is part 2 of the suspension install. In the previous episode, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's where we basically tore this entire thing apart and made it a hover car. And hopefully today we're going to be at least starting to undo some of our debauchery. Now, the cat's out of the bag. What we're doing to this car is the Superior Off-Road Pro Kit. Now, I know what you guys are thinking in the comments. Another bolt-on Superior build, another Patrol. I get it. You want to see crazy, ridiculous suspension in the boot, but we can't always do that when you want a legal car. So this is the next best option. This is the Off-Road Pro Kit. What that means is we are going to be legal anywhere in the country, 4 inches of lift and 35-inch tires. And the best part about the Superior kit is you can mix and match a whole bunch of the components and it's still going to be street legal nationwide. So let's quickly run you through what we're looking at before Max and I dive into this gigantic day ahead of us. So up the front, GU diff. We've gone with another Dwiz housing, the same as what we're running in the 80 series to my left. They are chromoly braced sheet metal housing made right here in Australia. They get them sent out with the low 4 chromoly axles and CVs as well. So the whole front end is going to be absolutely staunch as hell. We've got a GU steering box on the shelf that we're going to be chucking in this car too. In the front, we're going the Superior 5-link setup. I think in terms of maximum off-road prowess, flex and capabilities, the 5-link is the best option. We are doing coil tower braces, raised shock mounts. We are doing the Billet Series 7075 long arms in the back. We've got another braced GU H233 housing up the back here as well, which is going to be super sick. So we're not only just getting a massive amount of wheelbase width, we're getting stronger diffs, stronger axles, an epic flex setup. We've got the 4-inch coils here. We've got sway bars to put in it. We've got really long shocks, and we've got a really large amount of work to do and not a lot of time to do it in. So Max and I are about to try and do whatever we can under this car. Worth mentioning, there are a couple of elements of this kit that need to be welded in. I believe there's going to be some coil braces that need welding in. Obviously the long arm mounts need to be welded in and the old ones chopped off. We're not going to be doing that here on the shed floor. We're going to be taking that to Hyperfab HQ to do that. So today, and hopefully maybe another day, is going to be about just getting this thing, the diffs under it, probably bolted in with the factory trailing arms, get it to a point where the wheels can go on this car, put it on the trailer, take it to Hyperfab, and then do the final finishing touches there. Quite a mouthful, quite a lot of work. Let's get into it. Give it there.
You need to disassemble the shaft.
Stop, whack it in.
Blind, fucking full of dirt.
Hey, no need to yell, no need to scream and shout. That's all I've got. I've only got 2 fingers on the shaft. Your hole's too tight.
Lefty loosey.
There, Daddy goes. Nice, man. Probably wondering what we're doing here, folks. So, GQ Series 1 steering boxes are pretty weak, sort of like 80 series steering boxes. And because we're going GU diffs and all GU suspension, you have to do one of 2 things. You either have to order all GU suspension bits and then change the tie rod to GQ and make it work that way. Or alternatively do this, which is the GU steering box upgrade. It's bigger, stronger, and it means that we don't have to change any of the suspension components and it's now just all GU bolting gear. So definitely worthwhile, and these things are pretty cost effective as well. If you do have a Land Cruiser and you want to do this, Kinsella's Customs do a really cool kit, which is basically makes it a bolt-on affair. Max has got a GU steering box in his 105.
Bolt on after 8 hours of welding.
Once you weld it for 8 hours, it's bolt in. And I've got a GU steering box in the 80 series too. Really worthwhile thing. Andy, we can't be showing people that I work on cars. It's all an illusion.
Sit on it.
Just gotta let it eat. There's nothing the SP Tools ratchet can't do. Especially with a chrome socket on it.
It's not getting it, you're not holding it long.
Hey man, let it eat. The inside hole. Why does that feel wrong? If it looks like fitting a 5-link front end with a GU Dwiz housing is hard work, it's because it is. It is a game of tight clearances, but we have managed to get it sort of in there. The benefits of the 5-link is not only do you have way easier ability to adjust caster, so it's not all done through the bushes, but it's obviously that extra link means there's less binding and less fighting of the radius arms on the diff, so you can actually get more flex. Speaking of flex, you need long shocks to get flex, which is why Superior have sent us these. These are their plus 55mm shock mounts. It's a little bit of a mission to get them in because these are a mission to get them out and they're that much bigger. So I think we're gonna have to get a significant hole saw through the top of the guard to fit these in, but it's gonna be fine. And that means we can run our Gigantor 2.0 remote res Superior shocks. I think they're a 7 or an 8-inch, so it should allow lots of travel and fantastic drivability, which is really nice. The other cool thing about a lot of the Superior gear, or pretty much all the Superior gear, is it's all Australian made here in Queensland. So, you know, you're getting good quality gear made for these environments, and for the most part, fits pretty easily. So, yeehaw. Okay, Max is going to get lunch, so whilst we wait for him to return to finalise the front, we're going to move on to the rear because it is a lot more simple than the front in this particular case. Now, like I mentioned at the start of this video, we are running the Billet 7075 alloy long arms in the back of this, but because obviously we're on the floor, we do need to cut the original mounts off and we do need to weld in the long arm mounts. We don't have access to a welder and stuff here. What we're gonna do is basically get that rear diff under the car, bolt it all up as close to finish as possible, but maintaining those factory original lower control arms until we can get this thing onto a car trailer, tow it down to Hyperfab near Caboolture, get Max and Kaido to just do the final bits and pieces, because we've got obviously a weld in front coil brace. We've also got to weld in the billet long arm mounts and a couple of other bits and pieces that he's got to do too. So we're going to do that at the end of this episode. So we're not going to worry too much about that. What we are going to tackle right now is the rear. So there's a couple of bits and pieces you want to do before you roll that diff under the car and start basically whacking it all together. One of those is this. This is Australian made dropout cone, super simple, basically sits on top, that goes there, and you bolt them together on your coil mount, and that is basically going to help at full droop of the suspension, is going to help that shock, going to help that coil, relocate if it does come loose at the top, and you run that with a coil retainer at the bottom, and that way you can't actually ever lose your spring. You'll probably see some people at full articulation, the spring will come completely uncaptive from the actual vehicle. So you want to make sure you don't have that, because that really sucks. Max is calling. He probably wants us to know what's for lunch. Max, you're in the episode right now with filming. What do you want?
Sam.
Any lunch?
Is this Sam Young? Am I in the episode?
Yeah, you're in the episode. What do you tell us what you want for Christmas, little boy?
Kevin 07 or a King of Curry's Customs or a Tom Petrie dish? Say less.
All right, see you soon.
Bye.
Bye. Anyway, we've got burgers coming. Thanks, Max. So yeah, basically what we're going to do is roll that diff under there, which has been powder coated by Sunshine Powder Coatings and is all braced up. We're going to put in our adjustable uppers. The lowers, we're keeping those ones. We'll have the dropout cones in there, the coil retainers in there, the shocks, the springs, etc. At some point, we're going to have to get diffs built and get the hubs and all that sort of stuff sorted. But until then, let's just fumble our way through this. We also have a rear pan hub, which is kind of nice. We're going to whack on there too. So anyway, let's do things. Now, you listen here, you listen good. You want to make sure you cross-thread these, because that's nature's Loctite. Beautiful. All right, so what you're looking at is the diff housing you would have seen in a previous episode that the guys at Hyperfab braced up for us. This is using the Superior kit. Now, all of this kit is a part of the Offroad Pro kit. It's also a way that you can increase your GVM, because at the end of the day, GVM is, whilst it's about chassis strength, it's also about brakes. It's also about your diff load capacity. So by bracing the diff and running the Dwiz front housing, which has a 2-ton axle load rating, you're able to increase your overall GVM quite easily. Plus, you're obviously never going to have to worry about bending diffs, having issues with wheel bearings and axle seals and that kind of thing, as long as you know your diff is straight and that sort of thing. So we've done all this. This is obviously, it's got the big trusses here, it's got the pumpkin guard here, and it's got the ring around the drain plug down there. It's a really, really comprehensive kit. It's also got the gussets in at the end here on the outsides, and the gussets on the top side here in between the upper link mounts. Now, Somewhere in one of these boxes, I believe, is coil retainers, which basically just feed in through here, bolt through that hole in the bottom, and it's actually going to lock the coil into the bottom seat here. And then those dropout cones that we just fitted in the GQ should mean that the rear coils never come loosey-goosey, moosey on us. I'm just running around with the blade now and taking all the tape off. The guys at Sunshine Powder Coatings in Cunda Park nailed this. It looks absolutely incredible. Then we can roll this under the car and start bolting some bits and pieces into it. So let's have at it. Look how much stronger these new ones are going to be. So good. No need to yell. Hey guys, fancy seeing you little cheeky buggers here. This is our spring. The spring in your step. I hate myself, don't you? But anyway, this is our 4-inch coils, specifically for the TD. I know this is a TB at the moment, it will be going TD, so it's important to note that we got the springs for that. I'm hoping Mitch at Superior did the maths and crunched the numbers and we have an appropriate weighted spring for obviously the big main tank that's about to go back in the back of this car, the rear bar and the spare that's going on the rear bar, but one way to find out, I guess. Springs in, next step is going to be run these coil retainers, so for demonstration's sake, they go a little something like that, bolt through there with a little Allen key like that, and that's going to lock that spring in with that sort of brace there, and then using those dropout coils at the top, we shouldn't have an issue with springs coming loose and needing relocation. Welcome back to Clusterfucks with Sam. I know it's hard to believe, but it hasn't actually gone to plan. Crazy, right? So we got the GU diff in the back, all braced up, looking great. We've got the dropout cones, coil retainers, we've got the upper links in there. We're just gonna be maintaining those standard lowers. But this car was running on gas, so it had a big gas tank in the back and dual fuel. So it actually has a massive sub tank in the belly pan there. And that is preventing us basically proceeding. We were originally trying to keep it in because it's still a running driving car at the moment, and if we pull it out, it's going to be dead, but I think we're going to have to drop it out. It's stopping the upper link from actually drooping at all, so this thing would have never been able to have any sort of down travel with that tank in it. And it also looks like it's hitting on the spring and a whole bunch of things. It's just, yeah, it's crazy. Obviously, GU stuff's a fair bit bigger from the looks of it, and therefore it's not going to work. So I think we're going to have to drain the fuel out. There shouldn't be too much in there, and drop the tank out. Ain't that right, Maxie?
Sammy, mate.
Mate, what do you reckon, buddy?
What do you reckon, mate?
Hey,
That's
Chief.
about to be bloody straight out of there, mate.
Bloody,
How did that drive before? How did they go over bumps?
They would have had no down travel whatsoever. Ever. No good. But yeah, if you can see this, Andy, I know it's pretty crazy, but that's it's heaps good. Can we just angle grind the petrol? What do you want?
Nice. Oh, there's some rust in there.
Stop! You know what? Nice.
Where is it? Oh, yeah. Nice. Easy.
Thank God we have these Land Cruiser rear trailing arm bolts, because someone, now I'm not naming names, but it does start with an M and ends in Axe Davis, might have thrown the ones that we needed out. So, patrol apart, I will be calling you shortly. If you hold it down, I'll push it forward. Fuck, we're getting good at that. No, stop. You're going to get us cancelled. 2.0s, baby.
What are these things?
All right, I'm going to cut this one out.
Yeah, do you want me to hold it?
Oh, things are happening. All right, okay, we're going to spin it around.
And then do this.
Yeah, because that was far easier than what I anticipated. Okay, absolutely monumental day with a kit like this that's so comprehensive. It really is an all hands on deck situation, and really quite involved. Where we got up to today, I mean, it's almost done. We've got the new Dwiz diff in there. We've got the 5-link in. The springs are in the front. We've modified the inner guards up here for those plus 55 shock mounts. If we look up the back, we've got the brace GU diff in there. We've got pretty much everything in there except for the panhard. We do have a couple of bolts missing that have gone AWOL since stripping this down and getting to this point. So I'm going to have to get on the blower to patrol apart and get some genuine, trading arm bolts, panhard bolt, and a couple of other random bits and pieces like that. We did end up having to drop this sub tank out because we just couldn't get the suspension working with those GU bits and pieces any other way. I'm not even sure how they ever managed to get any sort of down travel or droop with this tank in the car because it was just so limiting to everything we were doing. I think we're going to wrap it up there because it is getting late and we've got some angry neighbours, as if you guys watch A Current Affair would know. So we're pretty much going to call it a day there. When we come back, hopefully we'll have the bolts, we'll whack everything else in, finish this car up, get it on a trailer and get it down to Hyperfab to do the last little bits. So I'll see you when I'm looking at you.
GQ clock on the ground out there.
Stop, my immaculate GQ clock that we stopped. Oh, Matt! Bye.